Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is going to be a series on each sign and how they act in an irrational way. And I'm starting with Libra because I happen to think specifically of this sign, just reflecting on certain characteristics that I had noticed. And to be fair, which is a quality that Libra people possess, I have 0 planets in Libra, but I can still appreciate that sentiment. I will be doing it for all the signs, so don't think that I'm picking on Libra. Okay, so the number one way that Libra people act in an irrational way is in believing that it would be the end of the world if there was any kind of conflict in their life. And so what I mean by this is if you are listening because you know someone who is a Libra, maybe this is your partner, an ex, a parent, or even like a child that you have, or a current partner, or maybe this is you and you're listening for yourself. The idea is that in life we have contrast. So obviously, it is better to have harmony in life. And I think well balanced people seek harmony. But when we are afraid of conflict to such a degree that we will go out of our way to stop it from happening, that is a sign that a person is irrational about what it means to have conflict. And this is because Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is about balance. Well, it's about harmony in particular. I was going to say balance, but I meant like if you think about harmonious images, like if you're talking about color schemes and things like that, what two colors are like clashing, what two colors are harmonious, that is a balance where they complement each other or what have you. So obviously that is the goal, but we do have yin and yang, the masculine and the feminine. We do have everything as the polarities. And this is why some people criticize the New Age movement in recent years, because they talk about this love and light, toxic positivity. And at first, when I heard that term, first of all, it seemed to be an oxymoron, that it was contradicting itself, because how can you have something positive that's toxic? But I understand what they mean. It's that form of bypassing. And Libra has this tendency to kind of like need that balance in order to feel okay about themselves. I have said that when Libra people are imbalanced, that's when they get goofy, because they become very unhinged. And part of the reason why they are becoming unhinged is because they can't control that desire for balance in all situations. The second reason that I would say that there is this neurotic part of Libra is that relationships can become an excessive need. And, you know, Libra rules the house of relationships, the 7th house. So it's not to say that that area of life should be neglected or rejected. I mean, that is natural for Libra to seek that out. The problem is when, for whatever reason, that person doesn't have that in their life, and they can end up becoming very maybe down on themselves. I believe that the sun in Libra and also the moon in Libra can produce attitudes that lead to people who, it's like they judge themselves based on having a relationship, and they might even think that other people are judging them as well. It's like, like it's a blow to their self-esteem. In a similar vein, this kind of attitude that the person, the story that they tell themselves can be, the negative results of that can be exacerbated by the fact that Libra is an air sign. I've often said that I believe that air signs can be neurotic, or what I call goofy, which is a little bit nutty, because the air signs are representing the intellect, but the abstract mind. The mind is abstract, and which means that a thought is far removed from a tangible thing. It's completely invisible. It's not, you could say it's unreal to a large extent because it doesn't have any kind of, tangibility factor. And so even like emotions can affect a person's physical body. Oh, you could say thoughts affect somebody's physical body, but what I think is that thoughts trigger emotions, and then the emotions create the physical results. But in any case, there is this kind of detachment with thought and abstraction, and that can lead to a person becoming very neurotic. So you'll often find that air signs almost embrace psychotherapy as a form of religion. And I'm just pulling this out of my butt right now by saying that. I'm just thinking in, certain circumstances where I have dealt with, actually, the two people I'm thinking about were both Libra. So that specific sign, but I could say that about any of the air signs. And it's the idea of the symbolism that we use to describe our emotions and everything else in life that is not the exact thing itself. I often say that Libra people are in love with love, and that can create a certain kind of inability to kind of get in the visceral quality of love, which is in that gut, or even like in the heart chakra, which is the bridge between the lower and the upper chakras. The upper chakras remind me of the air signs because they are, where the thought and the intuition lie, and it's not part of that physical manifestation. The third thing that can make a Libra person pretty neurotic has to do with the concept of beauty. So a Libra person can really be attached to things that are pretty to look at, that are, people that are attractive, nice surroundings. And conversely, if a Libra person finds themselves in a drab room, a color that is very either drab or just, something they find very glaring or just it's tacky, they will usually feel, maybe not good about that. It will kind of like unsettle them. And so the reason that this to me is an aspect of being neurotic is because the physical is superficial. And when we get too immersed in the superficial for any reason, it puts undue attention on things that are temporary. And that can also apply to the individual. So the Libra individual, and this could be male or female, Libra individuals can place excessive importance on their own looks. Now, I was talking about Libra, Sun, and Moon, but even the rising sign for sure could do this as well, because the rising sign can be the actual appearance. So I'm going to use the example of a Libra woman because women have been conditioned to really feel that their looks are important, and society has kind of reinforced that even to this day. So, anyway, a Libra woman, as she ages, may start to panic if she feels like her looks are slipping. Now, if she doesn't have beauty to begin with, and it would be very interesting to know if there has ever been a Libra man or woman who has been born as a plain Jane or a plain Joe or anything like that, or downright unattractive for any reason. Usually the sun sign I don't really think about in terms of appearance per se, but I do believe that it has some influence, and I think especially as we get away from that first Saturn return, that we start to really embody the sun sign more and more. So, that could pose some issues as a person ages, as a woman ages, and of course, a man may say, hey, maybe I'll get some Botox because I have crow's feet. Or maybe I'll just get a little eye tuck. Or you might have a man who is wearing guy liner because he thinks it makes his eyes pop. I mean, that careful attention to detail is taken to the extreme. I mean, I said detail, but I mean details as it relates to beauty. Virgo is the detail person, but just kind of like paying attention to one's looks, maybe to an excessive degree, and really believing that it is important how somebody looks. And that could extend to the kind of person that the Libra individual gravitates towards, somebody who they find attractive. And it might take a long time and a lot of drama for a Libra person to find an individual that isn't necessarily a beauty queen or, the most handsome man on the planet. Libra is a very intelligent sign. And sometimes Libra may kind of forget that is a very important part of their life, and they may be attracted to a pretty or handsome face and then find themselves bored out of their minds trying to hold a conversation with that person. I'm not saying that all people who are attractive don't have a lot going on upstairs. I'm just saying that sometimes there isn't that compatible intellect. And if you are not really thinking about it and you're just kind of focused on the thing that's like the bright, shiny object, that could lead to picking someone and having a relationship that is one-dimensional, inadequate, and things like that. So I just wanted to, point this out because all of the signs have their little quirks, and it's going to be fun to kind of explore this. So if you have any thoughts on this yourself, feel free to share below. This is not meant as any kind of insult. This is just kind of, and not all Libra people will have these issues, but if the scales tip in that direction, that's what they do, right? Okay, thanks for listening. And if you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.